The Liberals are making some shocking and drastic changes to the Canadian Citizenship Guide. They're removing the Conservatives' prior emphasis on the War of 1812, as well as information that the barbaric cultural practices of female genital mutilation and honor killings are illegal here in Canada. The Liberals also removed getting a job as a responsibility of citizenship. Yeah, that's going to turn out well. Instead, the Liberals are naming voluntary and mandatory citizenship responsibilities. Under mandatory responsibilities, the Liberals have listed paying taxes, because of course they do, obeying the law, serving on a jury, filling out the census, and respecting the treaties. Under voluntary responsibilities, the Liberals have participating in the political process, understanding official bilingualism, and respecting the human rights of others. Wait, that's voluntary? I'll get back to that one in a minute. But first, Canada's moral preening feminist Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who won't shut up about his own feminism, is removing the parts of the Citizenship Guide that make it clear that we don't treat women like chattel up here in the Great White North. You see, Trudeau is making the Canadian Citizenship Guide M103 compliant. That's the motion brought forward this year that explicitly condemns Islamophobia by using a whole of government approach. So here we are, using a whole of government approach by starting at citizenship and immigration and removing any warnings that may call into question radical Islam's treatment of women and girls. What this rewrite really does is it chips away at Canadian culture and values. You see, we don't beat or kill our women and children for uncovering their hair and talking to men they aren't related to. But you know what? We absolutely do need to tell refugees and new Canadians that it's not okay, because apparently some of the refugees just don't know. Besides the prior honor killings of the 4 Shafia women and acts of Pervez, one of Trudeau's refugees from Syria, a man named Mohammed Rafia, was just sentenced for beating his wife for a half an hour with a hockey stick and threatening to kill her. He only got 8 days in jail and 1 year of probation for this horrible assault because, well, he didn't know it was against the law. He actually told the court through an interpreter that when he came to Canada, officials didn't inform him of the differences in the law between Canada and Syria and that more should have been done to educate him. He asked through an interpreter, and I quote, "Why didn't they explain the law?" End quote. And you know what else we don't do around here? We don't slice into our daughters' bodies with dirty razor blades to satisfy some tribal and religious view of female sexuality as a cancer to be carved out of our daughters' bodies. But again, like honor violence and killings, we absolutely do need to tell new Canadians and refugees that they can't do female genital mutilation here. Canadian girls are being sent away to other countries for what's called vacation cutting. New Canadians need to know they can't do that to their Canadian daughters. Now back to that optional citizenship responsibility, optional, of respecting human rights. We do respect the basic human rights of others in Canada, like the right to free speech and free thought. Regardless of what M103 and this citizenship guide says, it's not an optional thing, it's essential. In any free and just society, we respect the basic human rights of women to come and go as they please, to look however they want, to choose to live and be however they want. And the changes to the citizenship guide, well, they should outrage feminists, but instead their silence is deafening while they sexually objectify every tiny little thing Prime Minister Hairdo does. And if respecting human rights is truly voluntary, then when will Trudeau disband the Human Rights Commission to prosecute, or rather persecute, people for alleged human rights violations? Or do the Human Rights Commissions not fall under this citizenship guide rewrite because they only prosecute people for the violations of fake rights, like making Muslims upset by publishing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad, like Ezra Levant did, or, I don't know, fining landlords for wearing shoes inside a rental property that they own, like they did to John Alabi. And really, whatever side of the immigration debate you fall on, removing or altering these warnings and expectations for new Canadians, well, it sets them up for failure. It leaves them open to religious violence, and it allows for self-segregation and a lack of integration. And that's the last thing anyone should want, even pro-immigration advocates. When Trudeau sent his passive-aggressive refugees welcome tweet to troll President Donald Trump, He didn't just welcome refugees in whatever manner they could get into our country, illegal or otherwise. Now it looks like he doesn't really care if they bring all their ugly baggage with them, instead of just making a fresh start. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunreed. The mainstream media cheers on Justin Trudeau while he tries to rewrite the Canadian culture, but we fight back. To never miss a story, be sure to subscribe to our new Rebel Canada YouTube page.